still at 100 PSI. Wow, boy, those oil pump gears. Let me zoom in for y'all. They make some pressure. You hear the car is in like mid idle. It hasn't gone to low idle yet. Nice. She's noisy again. When and why for oil pump gears?
So, being in the performance shop side of things, and knowing what my clients, customers, friends do with their cars, I would recommend it like right away. But that being said, your average like just get on it every once in a while kind of person, that's probably gonna live. And you got to think that most of like, especially for, are we talking in the context of S650, S550, S197, like so like S650s mostly are going to be under warranty. So if you're not going to touch it, you're not going to do anything to it, it will probably live. Now, I did show you my Dark Horse oil pump gears that had like 100 miles on them and already had signs of wear. So like those things make me a little on the nervous side as far as leaving them alone. But if you're going to do the stuff that we do, and you're going to go to the track and do burnouts, and you're going to go drift, or you're going to street race in Mexico, or whatever you're going to, like, just do it. Just have somebody do it. Like, just, it's, I'm not going to say it's cheap, but it's cheap insurance. Like, it's downtime you're not going to have with your car, putting an engine in it. It's money you're not going to have putting an engine in it. And if an oil pump gear fails, you're putting an engine in. Like, there is no, like, oh shoot, it might fail. There's no warning. It just goes from everything's great to nothing's great.
And when it's going to happen, and like you're asking yourself, well, what do you mean? Like, depending on how you drive it. So when it's going to happen is, are you the type of person that from time to time leaves a red light spicy or slides out of a parking lot trying not to kill crowds, and you bounce the red line? The red line bounce is what's going to get it. And you might be like, oh, well, I'll just never bounce the red line. Bullshit. Let's be real here. You're going to, right? You're going to slide a little bit. You're going to be in the rain playing around. You're going to bounce the red line. That's usually when the oil pump gear is going to go, fuck you, and break itself, and it's over. So I'm saying if there's a possibility you're going to bounce the red line, and you all are, just replace the oil pump gears. Now, you did kind of bring up a good point. The earlier cars were known for having oil pump gears, so if you have a Gen 1 Coyote, it's even more of a significant issue because they're kind of known for it. And that's what's got everyone scared about oil pump gears. And yes, they seem to have gotten better Gen 3, Gen 4. That's no excuse. You're
marginally better. Like not better.
Right. It's no excuse. You've got a grenade, pin is pulled, you're squeezing, and you're just waiting for you to bounce that red line a little too much, and tick, tick, boom, baby. And you say, like, we just need you to understand that Jordan's done hundreds of these, and they have many, many examples of very new cars with very low miles, with cracked, broken oil pump gears, no other modifications, just driven, and they gave up. Could you estimate, what do you think is the percentage of kind of astonishingly low mileage cars that had actual oil pump gear failures, or you pulled the oil pump gears out like the one that we showed where it was cracked and it was about to go?
Gosh, I don't know, because you do so many, and we do so many preemptively early. I don't know. I would say 5 to 10% of the ultra low mileage cars I've pulled them out of show more wear than I would expect from an oil pump gear. And
mine is a good example, right? We've got significant cavitation pitting for a car with 11,000 miles. That's significant.
And we know you don't drive your car.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
Right. So you just know that, like I explained to y'all, that cavitation is literally an explosion happening at the tip of the rotor while it pumps oil. Eventually, that will cause the gear to fail. It's just constant pressure of explosions. You're going to have a failure. All right, y'all. So we've finished. The car is running. We just have some wash up to do because obviously you're going to get coolant everywhere. You want to save yourself some sanity. Just wash the car down really well because you've got oil, you've got coolant, etc. explain to you what and how we did what we did today and for what reason.
Sure.
And then I'll give my opinion on whether or not after that you should try.
All right, so we kind of had this plan where we were going to come up here and do oil pump gears. And originally, I think I might have been the one that was going to do it, but I think we decided it would be better for you guys to see what it would be like if someone that hasn't done 700 sets of them would do it and how it would go. So we kind of allowed for him to, for JB to make some mistakes and take his own route and do his own things his own way and things like that. And we did that because that's what you guys are going to do if you try to do your own oil pump gears. Obviously, as our shop, that we would have done a lot of things very differently. So when you see things, you're like, we're allowing those things to happen for the sake of, like, you're in your garage, you're going to have to figure this out. We can only do so much on the video, and so many things can go wrong or change or deviate from what you expect, that if you don't have a ton of experience with it, you're going to have to shuffle through and work through it, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, the way we did things, like, we marked some things that, like, we marked all the timing and stuff. We did that as a backup, so I could let him try to time it on his own without help and just see how kind of confusing in some ways that it can be.
Yeah.
And so, from our perspective, we wanted you guys to see what it would be like to actually do it.
Right.
And so I guess I'll leave that to you now.
There were absolutely multiple things here that I did that Jordan wouldn't have. There was an incident yesterday where
I wasn't going to bring it up.
You know what? I thought about it overnight and I was going to bring it up. Where I was putting the driver's side valve cover back on and I checked to make sure the harness was out of the way the first time, and then I popped it up a bit to put silicone to set it back down again, and well, the harness that goes to the crank angle sensor on the back of the engine just happened to have tucked half of itself under the valve cover on the way down. And that is a lot harder to feel with that nice big rubbery gasket Ford has on that valve cover than you might think. And someone like these guys that have done it a million times, they just know because they know what it feels like every single time. And then that kind of like that muscle memory is a big deal whenever you do tech work for a living. I just didn't, and I got it tight enough that it hurt the wire before I'm like, something's not okay here. And they would have probably found it one click sooner and have saved the wire. I didn't. So we ended up burning probably the better part of an hour, lifting, like disconnecting the harness in a few places so we could shuffle it around the back side of the blower and perform a wire repair, because I actually ended up cutting one of the wires. It got pinched so bad. Those sorts of things happen. We talked about how the snout of my crank, the keyway is just a little shallower than it's supposed to be. The key sticks up a little more than it should, and now we're whipping out files and emery cloth and very carefully trying to manually machine something to fix, because, well, Ford's tolerances aren't perfect. That's why their crank sprocket is designed with so much tolerance leeway. It ended up feeling great after. Like, it's like the ideal crank sprocket situation. It's making the crank stronger because it required more than just slipping force to get it on there. You had to kind of give it some good force to push it down. So it's actually helping support the crank. But that being said, what would have happened if I'd have been in my driveway and I would have taken my brand new Boundary crank sprocket, went to put it on, and nada. Because the factory one, it was like a hot dog in a hallway. You could on and off. That was probably a slightly inappropriate hand gesture. Let me sideways. Two at one time, sideways. It would have been brutal. It would have been rough. I'd have been questioning everything I had done.
Yeah, and the other side of that is we actually took and we mic'd the crank on the front, the middle, and the back to make sure that the keyway was in straight. If you don't know that it's possible for the key to like move or rock a little bit, you might be fighting something like that, and then like filing down on the keyway and actually make a problem.
Right.
You know. And so we went through it carefully and measured everything, and we measured the sprockets. We knew what we were dealing with.
Right.
And then we started machining. So like, there's a lot of things like that you really have to think about.
Right. And luckily, that manual machining aspect, I have some background in that. We're both very engineering mindsets. So whenever it didn't want to work, we immediately stopped and backed off and took your crank sprocket back off and like, what is going wrong here? And whipped out a caliper and just started measuring everything. What has gone wrong? Is there something wrong with the crank sprocket? There wasn't. Boundary, if you're watching this. Is there something wrong with the crank? Is there something wrong with the key? What has gone wrong here? So don't expect to get into something like this and it's all gonna it's just bolts, it's parts changing. It's not. Shit happens. So from my perspective, my opinion is, if you were willing to do this without the video I just made you, and you were comfortable with it anyways, and you have the experience, then sure, do it. But if you were waiting for this video to determine whether or not you should be doing it and you are uncomfortable with it, don't. Just stop. Because what you're going to end up doing is an expensive tow truck ride to House of Boost for them to fix it. So why don't you just save yourself the money ahead of time, bring it to Jordan where he does like 15 oil pump gears a week. I know we joked about this back and forth, but legitimately this dude can do like literally 2 sets in a day if he really puts his head into it. So just bring it to House of Boost. They charge a really reasonable price, especially considering the magnitude of skill and tools and knowledge that is here. Just let them do it. And the benefit you get to that is, even with all of my tomfuckery trying to do it myself, because Jordan was right there watching and making sure that I couldn't screw anything up, we pushed the button to start the car, it built oil pressure and fired off. No funny noises you wouldn't expect, at least from the timing chain was tightening up and all that fun stuff. It was just what it was supposed to be. Now we have amazing oil pressure, a slightly worse for wear harness because I'm an idiot, and a really snug fitting crank sprocket. Do you have anything you want to add to that? 8 of 10 don't recommend is what I'm going to say here.
So you're on a don't recommend scale. So like 10 would be don't.
Just don't
And
ever.
8 is like just.
Obviously somebody has to do it,
Yeah.
so I can't do a 10 of 10. I'm
Gotcha.
going to do an 8 of 10 don't recommend. Like, unless you've worked in a very mechanical environment and timed a lot of complex engines, just leave it alone. There is so much opportunity, even if you're reading Ford's manual, to misinterpret the timing procedure for this engine, that at the very least you're probably going to end up trying to put a Ford tech on the phone if you've got a buddy that's done it before, to ask them questions. Like, the manual is very ambiguous. It is really rather ambiguous. Like, I could look at that and then suddenly have 4 or 5 questions about, well, what do they really mean by that? And unless you've done it before, you don't have an idea.
That's fair.
So, yeah, I've said all I'm going to say. It's probably been 15 minutes now. I don't know. Actually watch this. Actually listen to all of it if you've skipped to the end of this. It's important. But thank you so much.
Yeah, my
Jordan.
pleasure. Happy to help.
We've had an absolute ball here, and tomorrow we've got to wake up very early and drive 14 hours. I miss my family, but I'm going to miss these guys. They've been absolutely awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you all for watching the video, and as usual, we love you. God bless. Peace.
Dang it.